You have $50,000 to invest in a rental property, and you are asking, should you buy two lower price rental properties, let's say $100,000 a piece? Obviously, we're not talking about properties in California or any of the high price cities, but somewhere in the Midwest, Southeast, you can easily get a really good rental property for $100,000. So do you buy two of those, putting say 25,000 down on each, so you're 50,000, or do you buy a more expensive property and put the whole 50,000 as some level of down payment for that property? So let's say like 175 or $185,000 property. Which one do you do? So here are the considerations, and these are the things that I look for if I know how much money I want to invest and I'm looking at all my options. Do I want to buy 200,000? Do I want to buy 185,000? Right off the bat, I probably don't know the answer to that. But here are the things that I think about. One thing I think about is, and maybe the biggest thing is, I'm always a big fan of having as many properties as possible for two different reasons. Number one, well, actually three different reasons. Number one, diversification, not putting all my eggs in one basket. Number two, if let's say I buy the two properties, if one property goes vacant, I'm not at complete zero for income. Maybe the cash flow from the other property can help carry that mortgage, or it contributes. I'm not at zero for income all of a sudden. Whereas if I only have one house, I'm at zero quickly if there's a vacancy or other problem. And number three, if I buy two of the properties, I can experience, depends on how the world turns. I can experience double the appreciation because I'm not just getting the appreciation from one property, I'm getting it from two, and double the tax benefits, basically double potentially all of the financial benefits of those properties. And maybe the $185,000 one ends up appreciating way more than those two combined. Again, that, it's not a sure thing for every scenario. It just kind of depends. But those are things I think about. So I'm always a big fan of having more properties than not. However, in that train of thought, if going down in the price range to get two properties brings on a significant amount more risk, that may not be worth it. So let's say the quality of the $185,000 property is really high, the rents are high, the tenant quality is great. But if I go down to the 100,000 or sub 100,000, if that entire dynamic changes and brings on more risk, again, obviously, what degree of risk, I don't know. But those are the things I'm thinking about, is what is the actual difference in quality of the $100,000 property option versus the 185? In that case, I may want to consider putting all my eggs in the, I don't want to call it a sure thing, but maybe it's a better basket. So, it is all in your comfort level. And the first thing I would do is really look at the two options. Look at the $185,000 property. What are the returns on it? What's the quality of it? What's the exit strategy of it? The exit strategy options may be much greater than the $100,000 property. What kind of tenants can I expect? Paint the whole picture. And then paint the whole picture for the $100,000 property and compare those. Some people are more nervous and they want to stick with the higher quality. Maybe they just want higher quality, or maybe the $100,000 property is perfectly good quality and you can end up getting much higher returns by splitting your money and having two properties. So think about those things. And at the end of the day, when people ask me, which route should I go? And this question goes for like, should I buy my own house? Should I buy an investment property? Should I buy this investment property? Should I buy this one? Start with the numbers. And then once you start with the numbers, look at the risk factors. Those two things alone are going to paint a pretty thick picture without a lot left for you to wonder about. And based on those two things, where are the better returns? What are the risk factors? Maybe you want the lower return for less risk. Who knows? So hopefully that helps you figure out or start to think about, this is strategy, portfolio strategizing really, is if you want to invest in multiple properties and you have a certain amount of money to do it, how can you best do it to minimize risk, maximize returns, and also make sure you're sleeping well at night and not stressing yourself out. So things to think about. If you don't know how to do any of those things, running the numbers, assessing the risk, I don't know, reach out and ask, and I'll help you.